With the news we recently received, there's almost a guarantee that some of the preps you see here on the table will disappear. So stick around for the rest of the video. I'm going to talk about 5 preps that you need to get right now before they disappear. Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and today has been an interesting day to say the least. And I felt like, you know what, I need to make sure that everybody here in the community understands that there's some things that are going to very quickly disappear from your ability to access them due to some of the results we've been given this morning. We are now on the edge of knowing that things are not going to go well for the realm of 2A, let's just say. And there's a lot of things that are going to disappear overnight if you don't act quickly. And a lot of you out there might be saving up for certain purchases, or maybe you're waiting for the right time, or maybe you're trying to figure out exactly what it is you want to get before you pull the trigger. But right now is not the time to wait around. Right now is the time to place your orders, get what you need, and make it happen right now. Because as we have seen with 2020, there's been a huge ammo shortage. There's been a huge firearm shortage. And that's all in anticipation for what this election was going to be, as well as for what happened during the pandemic. But now we're talking about having an actual idea of things going very bad for the 2A community here soon. And this stuff is going to disappear from the realm of possibility for many of you. And if you're preparing for SHTF scenarios and you're really concerned about what is all going on right now, what just happened, and you want to make sure you put yourself in a good position to acquire some of this equipment before it disappears, hit the subscribe button below, because I'm going to try my best to keep you posted on different ideas and different equipment that you can get. And maybe even if there's deals or stuff like that out there, I'll try to get you a little bit of information about it, so that way everybody can be on the same page, okay? So here's 5 things that you should get right now in anticipation of them disappearing or being almost impossible to find very soon here, okay? So the very first thing I'm gonna go ahead and say is you wanna make sure to grab your large capacity magazines. Large capacity magazines are already hard to find right now, and they've been kind of slowly dissipating over the last 6 months. And at the store, you know, at least in my area in North Dakota, I've been able to still find things like some of the Magpul D60 mags and some of those higher round count magazines that are out there. But guess what? As of yesterday, I couldn't find those anymore. They weren't on the shelf any longer, and I couldn't just go easily acquire them. And all these magazines you see right here, these are 33 round Glock magazines. These are 25 round Magpul SR25 magazines. All of these magazines that are considered larger capacity are going to be very hard to find very soon, because everybody's going to have the same exact idea. Go out and get as many as you can. And listen, some of you are going to say, well, this is your fault because you're telling everybody to go get these things. It's going to happen regardless of whether or not I say it. So this is my message to the community here, the people that I support and that also support me, to say, hey, make sure you're front in line. Don't be the last person in line and expect to get any of this stuff, okay? It's not my fault this is happening. This is literally just what is going to happen, okay? So moving on from there. Get your plates. You got to get plate armor. That would be number 2 here on this list of things to acquire right now, because those things have been scrutinized in the past and people have been buying it up ever since back in March and April. A lot of people have been acquiring plate armor and getting their different plates they need for their carriers. And honestly, right now you can still get good deals and you can still get decent quality plates online, especially on places like eBay. Now, many people will say, well, don't trust that stuff and don't buy things that are cheap because you're talking about, trying to protect your life here. And I understand that, but at the same time, a lot of us can't afford some of the high expensive ceramic style stuff that's out there. So you can still get steel plates, you can still get 3A level soft armor plates right now on places like eBay for relatively cheap, and you'll get it quickly. And that's something you should definitely see about doing right now before you wait too long and realize you can't really find it anymore, because it will go quickly. I guarantee you that, okay? So moving on from plates, because that is definitely part of the equation of things that are going to disappear fast. Number 3, you might as well grab plate carriers and pouches and magazine pouches and everything else you need in order to utilize those plates, because even plate carriers are harder to come by. Lately, and I'm not even talking about today, I'm talking about over the last few months, it's been harder to get things, at least in the color scheme that you want. Yes, you can still get certain plate carriers from different manufacturers, but maybe you can't get Coyote Brown anymore. Maybe you have to settle for OD Green. Maybe you have to get black. Maybe you have to get multicam, which is always more expensive for some reason. But That being said, get what you can now. And look, if you can't get the color you wanted, if you can't get OD green, or maybe you want robin's egg blue because you just like to roll that way, maybe you live in the clouds, I don't know. But if you can't get what you want, try to get something that's going to be capable and at least have it for practicality purpose more than just trying to have a color coordinated scheme of some kind, okay? This plate carrier I got about a month ago, and the pouches and stuff that I ordered for it just came in like last week. So things are still harder to get even before all this news came out, where we're going to look at ourselves in the mirror and wonder what the heck just happened, in the sense of affecting everything related to the 2A community and your, personal rights to self-defense. So make sure you get plates and your plate carrier. The number 3 thing, your plate carrier and the pouches for it, and the pouches for any of your MOLLE equipment now, because it is getting harder and harder to get. When I tried to just buy something very basic, $14 pouches for M1A magazines, I was limited by color, I was limited by quantity, I was limited by manufacturer. It was very hard to find exactly what I wanted, and I was able to get it after doing some tough searching, but at the same time, that was before all this. So jump on top of it, make it happen now, and don't be too picky about color, because make sure practicality overrides what it is you want in the sense of looking cool. All right, so number 4. The number 4 thing, okay, because we got large capacity magazines, we got plates, armor plates, we got carriers and pouches for those plates. Number 4 is going to be uppers. AR uppers are going to be heavily scrutinized, because people are starting to understand what it means to be able to swap uppers out between lowers and do this or that or one thing or the other, and they're going to be very scarce. ARs are already scarce. Trying to get good high quality firearms is already a difficult thing to do, and uppers are even going to be harder to get because they're cheaper to get into than buying a full firearm. You don't have to go through an FFL, so there's no paperwork involved. You can order it right to your front door from a website, and then you're good to go. Okay, if you have one lower, you can have 10 uppers, and they're generally all going to work together. And guess what? There you go. You have a lot of different options and calibers and different purpose-built systems for different scenarios, and then you only have to have one lower that actually has to go through the FFL process. So these uppers are going to be very hard to acquire, and honestly, they're not that expensive even still right this second. Yes, they're harder to get, especially if you want certain manufacturers or certain components, but if you look online and you really do some research, you can find that there's still at least the availability out there. Might not be exactly what you wanted, but you can get it. And sometimes for less than $300, you can find complete uppers. And yeah, are they the best on the market? Of course not. Are they available? Yes. And can you get them right now? Yes. Should you? Probably. Okay? So these uppers are going to disappear just like everything else, but even more so than they already have. And this is definitely important, because these things are going to be not only targeted, they're going to be definitely targeted by those who don't want them to be around. But people like us are targeting them for purchase, knowing what might come. And that's what I'm trying to help you with here. I'm not trying to incite all the buying. It's going to happen anyway. I promise everybody. It's not going to be me telling the world to go do these things and everybody follows suit. It's already happening right this second, I guarantee it. I'm just trying to help the community here be ahead of the game, because if you haven't thought about it or you haven't pulled that trigger yet on that shopping cart that you have a couple items in, it might not even exist by the end of this day. So keep that in mind, okay? And the 5th thing on the list that you got to get right now before it disappears, I'm telling you, listen, this is all going to happen. Reloading components. Now, reloading components have been hard to come by, and I'm talking about primers, I'm talking about powders, I'm talking about everything related to reloading has been hard to find, but the hardware itself is still available. And things like this die set are going to be the difference of being able to get everything set up for being able to utilize the reloading once you acquire some of the other disposable components, okay? So get your components now in the sense of hardware. If it's harder to find the powder, it's harder to find the primers, you can at least have the components you'll need once you do find some primers and once you do find some powders. The hardware itself is still out there. You can still get die sets. You can still get everything else related to reloading that you need, including, hand primers or powder charges or whatever else you need to get. The hardware's still there, okay? So try to get the hardware now while you can, because it's another sector that's going to get hit very hard, and it's going to be heavily scrutinized at the same time. So these are my 5 things you need to get right now before they disappear. Look, you should already have a lot of this stuff, let's be honest. And a lot of us do, and a lot of us are going to, see comments below that say things along the lines of, oh, I've had all this stuff for the last 20 years, and if you're just starting right now, you're way too late. Well, there might be some truth to that, but if you don't have these things, don't look at comments like that and then just don't act, okay? Don't assume, well, they're right, it's too late, I just shouldn't buy anything now. No, don't listen to that. Get these things now, even if you don't have anything, because you know what? You're gonna wish you had them one day and you won't be able to get them, but right now you still can. So do what you can, find what you can, and order what you can, because right now it's definitely becoming a volatile market in many, many ways, and we all know why. So, that being said, if you have any questions about anything you see here on the table, or you have any questions about where some of this stuff can be acquired, leave it in the comments below. Not only will I try to help you out, but the rest of the community does a great job of helping each other out when it comes to any advice or information people are looking for. And if you need anything directly from me, go to my website, magicprepper.com, and you can just send me a contact form and help, communicate directly with me. Yes, sometimes it takes me a while to get back to everybody, but I don't have a secretary or anything like that. So I kind of have to do everything on my own, and I still have a job. So keep those things in mind. But this is the 5 things I would say you should probably get right now and quickly. So, without anything else to say about what will disappear here in the realm of preps very soon, that's going to be it for Magic Prep.